What happened here? What is going on here? What is going on here? Huh? Yeah, that's the size. Sure. Something's off here. Okay. We're just trying a little something different. That's all. We got a very interesting story ahead of us. Take a look in a book. Fuck. Okay, let's look at this. Alright. Oh no. The next chapter we're on is the sickle, but we're going to refrain from that for the moment. That's enticing as it looks. Now Kronos, or Kronos as he sometimes styled himself, was not quite the pained and vulnerable emo-like youth that Ria's and Tartarus descriptions may have led us to picture, for he was the strongest of an unimaginable strong race. He was darkly handsome, certainly, yes, he was moody. Had Kronos the examples to go by. He would perhaps have identified with Hamlet at the most introspective, or Jacques at his most self-indulgently morbid. I guess they're referring to Shakespeare. Constantine from the Seagull with a suggestion of Morrissey. Shoosh. She was, yet there was something of a Macbeth in him too, and more than a little Hannibal Lecter, as we shall see. Just fantastic. Kronos had been the first to discover that brooding silence is often taken to indicate strength, wisdom, and command. The youngest of 12, he had always hated his father. The deep and piercing venom of envy and resentment was beginning to unravel his sanity. But he had managed to hide the intensity of his hatred from all but his adoring sister Rhea, who was the only member of his family with whom he felt comfortable enough to reveal his true self. As they made their way up from Tartarus, Gaia poured more poison into his receptive ear. Wonderful. Uranus is cruel. He's insane. I fear for myself and for all of you, my beloved children. Come, boy, come. She was leading him to Mount Orthyros, which is another mountain. That's what they named it. You recall the strange and terrible artifact that I told you she had wrought and written in the cleft of the mountain. That's right. If you are following along with the live streams that I've been doing. This is odd. It seems the camera has frozen. What is going on here? It's like all of my electronics are fucking failing or some shit. Hello? What's going on here? There we go. It's catching up. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it froze the entire time or what the deal is. We'll find out. Okay, so she's looking for the thing she made, the artifact that she made in the cleft of the mountain. Before she went visiting each of her children, Gaia now took Kronos to that place and showed him what she had made. Pick it up, go on. Kronos' black eyes glittered as they took in the shape and meaning of this most strange object. It was a sickle, an enormous scythe, whose great curved blade had been forged from adamantine, which means untamable. A massive aggregate of gray flint, granite, diamond, and ophiolite. It's a half-moon blade. Its half-moon blade had been refined to the sharpest edge, an edge that could cut through anything. Kronos plucked it from its hiding place just as easily as you or I would pick up a pencil. After feeling the balance and heft of it in his hand, he swung it. Once, twice, the powerful swish as it whipped through the air made Gaia smile. Kronos, my son, she said, we must bide our time until Hemera and Aether dive into the waters of the west. Erebus and Nyx prepare to cast the dark. You mean we must wait until evening? Kronos was impatient and quite lacking in poetry or finer feeling. Yes, eventide. That is when your father will come to me, as he always does. He likes to. Kronos nodded curtly. He did not wish to know the details of his parents' love-making. Hide there, in that very cleft where I hid the sickle. When you hear him covering me, and he grows loud in his roars of passion and groans of lust, strike. Night and day, light and dark, as Gaia predicted, Hemera and Aethera were tired after 12 hours of playing, and slowly day and light slipped down westward into the sea. At the same time, Nyx slipped off her dark veil, and she and Erebus threw it over the world like a shimmering black tablecloth. As Kronos waited in the cleft, sickle in hand, all creation held its breath. I say all creation, for Uranus and Gaia and their offspring were not only beings to have reproduced, others had manipulated and propagated too. With Erebus and Nyx the most productive by far, they had many children, some terrible, some admirable, and some lovely. We have already seen how they gave birth to Hemera and Aether. So Erebus and Nyx had Hemera and Aether, which I believe was night, and yeah, should be night in whatever night was made out of. We have already seen how they gave birth to Hemera, yeah. But then Nyx, without Erebus's help, gave birth to Moros, or Doom, who was to become the most feared entity in creation. Doom comes to every creature, mortal or immortal, but it's always hidden. Even the immortals feared Doom's all-powerful, all-knowing control over the cosmos. After Moros came a great rush of offspring, one affect the other, like a monstrous airborne invasion. First came appetite, deceit, whom the Romans called fraus. So, deceit. Doom and deceit, from whom we derive the words fraud, fraudulent, and fraudster. She scuffled off to Crete, where she bided her time. Garrus, old age, was born. Wow, talk about I feel like everything seems. We're next, not necessarily so fearful, a demon as we might think today, while Garrus might have taken away suppleness, youth, and agility for the Greeks, he more than made up for by conferring dignity, wisdom, and authority. Sectus is a Roman name, a word that shares the same root as senior, I should say, senate, and senile, which is and Erebus were just getting into their stride. Their next child, Eris, discordia, strife, lay behind all disagreements, divorces, Scraps. Skirmishes, fights, battles, and wars. It was her malicious wedding present, the legendary Apple of Discord, that brought about the Trojan War through that epic clash of arms was a long, long way in the future. Strife's sister, Nemesis, was the embodiment of retribution, that remorseless strand of cosmic justice that punishes presumptuous, overreaching ambition, the vice that the Greeks called hubris. Nemesis has elements in common with the Eastern idea of karma, and we use her today to suggest the fateful retribution opposition, the lofty and wicked, will one day meet, and which will bring them down. I suppose you could say Holmes was a Moriarty's nemesis, Bond was Blofeld's, and Jerry was Tom's. Erebus and Nyx also gave birth to Charon, whose infamy would grow once he took up his duties as ferryman for the dead. Hypnos, the personification of sleep, was born to them too. They were also progenitor, I don't know, Progenitor of the Onerio, thousands of beings charged with the making and bringing of dreams to the sleeping. Amongst the Onerio, whose names are known to us, were Vordator, god of nightmares, and Phantasos, responsibility for the fantastic manner in which one thing turns into another in dreams. They worked under the supervision of Hypnos' son, Morpheus, whose name itself suggests. Morphing, shifting shapes of the dream world, morphine, fantasy, hypnotic, oneromancy, the interpretation of dreams, and many other verbal descendants of Greek's sleep have survived into our language. Sleep's brother, Thanatos, death himself, gives us the word enthusiasm. In euthanasia. Oh my gosh, euthanasia. Okay. And it seems my camera has stopped again. I don't know what it's doing, but it seems to. Let me try bringing it up again. Okay, now it's back. I don't know why it keeps doing it. Okay. Euthanasia, good death, in quotes. The Romans called him Mors, of mortals, Moriaries, Mortuaries, mortuaries, okay, and mortification. These new beings were frightening and loathsome and extreme. They left on creation a terrible but necessary mark, for the world seems never to offer anything worthwhile without also providing a dreadful opposite. There were, however, three lovely exceptions, three beautiful sisters, the Hesperides, Hesprid, Yes, I want to say Hesperides, nymphs of the west and daughters of the evening. They, oh jeez, the daily arrival of their mother and father, but with the soft gold of the gloaming rather than the dread black of night. Their time is what movie cameramen today call magic hour, when the light is at its most beguiling and beautiful. Gloaming. Never heard of that word. Never heard of that word. Okay, we're gonna take a 5 here, and we're gonna play some of this game. See what I can do with it. just under precarious circumstances at this very moment. Damn it. Ooh, that's cool. Let's try it out. What does this remind me of? Come on. There's a lot of hits. Ooh. Hey now. Come on. Am I the only person that has control over their faculties? Like, I've never been attracted to anything, no matter if I was dietarily involved or not. Because I always kept my brain first, my perception. I don't know. Okay. Okay, the life is going down. Collect sands of time to replenish health. Okay. Okay, what? Ooh, there it is. Shit. Come on, get up there. Oh, son of a bitch. Jump. What is going on? Am I stuck? Okay. I couldn't go any further back. Come on. Damn it. We're gonna end it here. I would like to keep reading, but I think I'm going to call it because it seems that my camera and just things are just bugging out. I know the audio is working quite well, but every time, this camera's fine. This one is not. My main one, my main camera is not working that well, which is concerning. So I'm gonna see if I can get it to work before I say goodbye. We're just gonna stop it here. Goodbye, everybody.